Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. As we wrap up this week of Christmas stories and legends, you might be surprised to learn that this one is true. This actually happened. On Christmas Eve in 1914, the first year of World War I, a strange quiet had settled on the Western Front. It was a welcome respite for a group of lonely English soldiers who had become all too familiar with the roar of the cannons and the whine of the rifles. As they reclined in their trenches, each man began to speculate about the activities of their loved ones back home. "My parents are just finishing a toast to my health," a lad from Liverpool said slowly. "I can almost hear the church bells," a stout man from London said wistfully. "My whole family will soon be walking out the door to hear the concert of the boys' choir at the cathedral." The men sat in silence for several minutes before a thin soldier from Kent looked up with tears in his eyes. "This is eerie," he stammered, "but I can almost hear the choir singing." "So can I," shouted another puzzled voice. "I think there's music coming from the other side." As the men scrambled to the edge of the trench and cocked their ears, what they heard was a few sturdy German voices singing Martin Luther's Christmas song, "From heaven above to earth I come to bear good news to everyone. Glad tidings of great joy I bring to all the world and gladly sing." When the hymn was finished, the English soldiers sat frozen in silence. Then a large man with a powerful voice broke into the chorus of "God rest ye merry, gentlemen." Before he had sung 3 bars, a dozen voices joined with him. By the time he finished the song, the entire regiment was singing. Once again, there was an interlude of silence until a German tenor began to sing "Stille Nacht." This time, the song was sung in 2 languages, a chorus of nearly 100 voices echoing back and forth between the trenches. "Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright." "Someone is approaching," a sentry shouted, and all attention was focused on a single German soldier who walked slowly, waving a white cloth with one hand and holding several bars of chocolate in the other. Slowly, men from both sides eased out into the neutral zone and began to greet one another. In the next golden moments, each soldier shared what he had with the others: candy, cigarettes, even a bit of Christmas brandy. Most importantly, the soldiers showed the battered but treasured pictures that they carried of their loved ones. No one knows whose idea it was to start the soccer match, but with the help of flares, the field was lit and the British and German soldiers played until they and the lights were exhausted. Then, as quietly as they had come together, the men returned to their own trenches. On Christmas Day, men from both sides again joined together, even visiting the others' trenches. The German soldiers, wishing to avenge the previous night's torch-lit soccer loss, organized another game, and once again they played in the shadows of the guns. In a few days, when the orders came to resume the battle, neither side was willing to take the first shot. And in fact, fresh troops had to be brought in on both sides before a shot was fired. For those soldiers who had shared that night, things were never the same. The enemy was no longer faceless. He was an acquaintance who had shared a candy bar or scored a goal in soccer. When they looked down the barrels of their guns at the enemy, they saw also the smiling faces of those whose pictures were shared on a silent, holy night when the birth of Jesus drew hostile forces together as brothers, and for a few moments gave weary soldiers a taste of peace and goodwill. For a few moments, the world was new and forever different. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.